felt like no matter how hard you try, there's always that little voice in the back of your mind, second guessing every decision that you make. Ugh, like you're constantly wondering, am I on the right path? Can I really trust myself with this? And if that's you, I totally get it. It's the name of the game, right? And that's why today we're talking about one of the most powerful elements of building our dreams. And that is trusting yourself and your vision. And we're going to talk about how this leads to greater alignment and what you could do to start strengthening that trust today. Not in 6 months, not in 1 year, but today. You're going to walk away with practical tips on how to connect with your inner guidance, recognize when you're in alignment, and course correct when you're not, so that you can move forward with confidence, clarity, and ease. So if you're ready to doubt yourself less and trust your path more, let's dive in. All right, first up, let's talk about the power of trusting your inner knowing. And this is so important, especially for someone who is building a dream and pursuing their calling. Trusting yourself is the foundation. It's key to unlocking the clarity and direction that you need. It's what allows you to take inspired action, to feel confident in your decisions, and to keep moving forward even when things feel uncertain. Without this kind of trust, even the best strategies and tools can feel ineffective. But when trust is there, everything becomes clear and alignment naturally flows. Trusting your vision helps you stop spinning your wheels and allows you to step into a deeper, more fulfilling way of working where you feel empowered, confident, and in flow. And when it comes to our dreams, why else would we want to pursue it any other way? When we trust ourselves and our vision, we're aligning our actions with our deeper purpose. Trust allows you to navigate from that place of inner knowing rather than external pressure. And this is crucial because your calling is unique and no one else can tell you exactly how to pursue it. We talked about this last week. Trusting yourself brings you into alignment with who you truly are and what you're meant to create in this world. So without it, you're more likely to get swayed by distractions, second guess yourself, take actions that don't feel authentic or aligned, constantly question if you're on the right path or not. And so clarity is one of the most sought after things when we're building a dream. But it's hard to come by when we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for validation or what next step we should take. When you trust your instincts, you begin to feel more connected to your inner voice, which provides a clear direction. This clarity makes decisions easier because you're not operating from a place of doubt or fear. You trust that you're on the right path, even if it doesn't always make sense to others. And let's be real, that it often doesn't make sense to others. When you truly trust your vision, you're able to enter a state of flow where things just click, which is the opposite of hustle. So instead of forcing things to happen, you're in sync with your purpose and things just begin to unfold. And flow is that sweet spot where your creativity and energy are at their peak and your work feels effortless. It feels natural. And trust is what gets you there because it removes the need to control every outcome, control every word that you're going to say, or second guess every step, trying to make sure that it's the right one. You allow things to happen naturally. And that's where the magic is. That's where things feel lighter and more fun. Things are truly flowing and you're truly in alignment. It's like you're in lockstep. I just got the vision of, let's say we're a train and the train has to be on its path, right? I don't know what that path is called, the railroad. It has to be on the railroad in between those lines. else what happens? It's off. Nothing flows correctly. Nothing moves correctly. It doesn't move fast enough. It probably can't move at all. Things just feel bottlenecked and waddled up, and they don't flow. They don't work correctly. It's out of alignment. And that's what happens when we're not trusting ourselves, or when we don't trust ourselves as much as we could, because there's always another layer to trusting ourselves. How we trust ourselves in one season is going to look entirely different for when we trust ourselves in another season. But the important thing is that we stay in alignment, that our train stays on the track so that we can continue moving forward to that vision that is so important to us, to that calling that literally lights us up and is an internal, ever flowing fire within us, like the fire that I feel right now. That's the beauty of alignment, and that's the beauty of trust. And so this alignment comes when your internal world matches your external actions. When you trust yourself, you're more likely to make choices that align with your values, your desires, your long-term vision. You'll stop chasing things that don't resonate with you. It's easier to say no. You start moving in a direction that feels right. Think about that train. But when we're doubting ourselves, it clouds our judgment and leads us to indecision, not being able to make a decision. But trusting yourself cuts through the noise. It brings that kind of clarity where you know exactly what to do next, because you're no longer questioning yourself or your path. You're just flowing. You're just moving. You're able to move forward with certainty because you trust that your inner wisdom is guiding you. You're not afraid of falling. Flow happens when you're not constantly battling yourself, when there's a sense of ease in what you're doing. When trust is present, you're not resisting or overthinking. Think about that train analogy again. You're simply moving forward, feeling supported by your vision and your inner guidance, right? And this creates an effortless flow where things just start to click. Opportunities arise, momentum builds, things start popping off, and it feels good. It feels really good. And so the whole point of this video is that I want to help you feel more empowered, confident, and aligned on your journey. So you may be wondering, what level of trust should I be on? What level of trust do I need when pursuing my calling, when trying new things, when starting a new business, when pivoting that business, or adding on another dimension by writing a book and stepping into my next level? What level of trust do you need? And from my perspective, that is radical and fierce trust. Seems delusional. Because remember, our calling is so deeply called through us. It truly is called through us. And so when we have that radical and fierce trust, we can just let it flow. We can follow it. We can enjoy the unfolding. And each and every step along the way, we don't have to feel like we're in a constant state of not there yet. There's more to do, but that person's doing that. When we trust, it just opens up our floodgates. And so I'm going to talk to you like, what does that radical and fierce trust look like? Well, it's where you're deeply connected to your intuition and you fully believe that your vision is not only possible, but it is inevitable. And this kind of trust is unshakable, even in the face of challenges or uncertainties or life. It's about knowing that you are being guided, that your instincts are reliable, and that you can trust the timing of your journey, even when you might not like it. So radical and fierce trust looks like releasing a wellness product that no one else in the industry is offering, even when competitors are telling you to play it safe. You're not swayed by market trends because you know this product is an extension of your vision and what your community truly needs, even if the idea feels ahead of its time. Radical and fierce trust is starting a video series on a topic that you feel deeply connected to, even though it's not trending or wildly talked about. You trust your unique perspective and know that if it lights you up, it'll resonate with the right audience and those who need your message most. And then you trust that they're going to hear that message when they need it most. Radical and fierce trust is painting or sculpting a piece that feels unconventional, something that breaks away from maybe your usual style or the market's demand. You create it because it speaks to your soul, not because it's guaranteed to sell. You trust that your bold choice will connect with the people who need to experience it. Radical and fierce trust is designing an 8-week transformation program for your clients that doesn't follow the industry standard blueprint. It feels risky because it's more intuitive, but you know it's aligned with what your clients need for deep lasting change because it could have helped you. So, of course, it's going to help them. You're confident in your offering, even when others might say it's too unconventional. Believing in your brilliance, stepping into your power. Radical and fierce trust is going all in on developing an app that solves a problem in a completely new way, even though investors and advisors might not immediately see the vision. But you know that this solution is groundbreaking. And while others are waiting for proof of concept, you trust your instincts enough to lead the way. Radical and fierce trust is when you feel a deep pull to start, let's say, a sustainable clothing brand, but you don't have a clear vision of all the logistics like supply chain details or manufacturing partners. Instead of waiting for the whole plan to reveal itself, you trust your gut and you start designing. You start by designing the first few pieces. And as you move forward, you find the right partners and resources just come into play exactly in the right moments because you're taking action from inspiration. Radical and fierce trust looks like you feeling called to deliver talks and speeches, maybe even TEDx's that empower women in leadership. But you don't have a detailed itinerary and no venues are lined up yet. But instead of waiting for everything to be perfectly planned or to know if people are going to be there, you announce your intention and start reaching out to potential collaborators, trusting that the right opportunities will emerge as you move forward. Radical and fierce trust looks like, let's say you've been hired to create a large mural, and initially you felt pressure to map out every detail perfectly before you even begin. But instead of forcing the creative process, you let go and start painting with the flow of inspiration. And as you work, you trust that the mural will evolve in the right direction. And by releasing control, the final piece turns out more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. That's what radical and fierce trust looks like. And so for me, when I trusted my gut feeling, even when it didn't make logical sense, is honestly how I approach the creation of all of my programs. I either create them in hindsight of this is what I wish I had and what would have supported me, or now with my experience and my perspective, I create from a place of, oh my gosh, this would accelerate someone's journey or support them who this would deeply support them and make their journey more fun. And so either way, I trust my gut every single time I create a program. There's no market research that goes into it. There's no asking people's opinions. And there's no trend hunting. It's not that those things don't matter, because they do when they have their place. But when it comes to creating something meaningful, and for me, that's my coaching programs. Well, everything, my YouTube videos, my podcast, my speeches, my events, everything. When we're creating something meaningful, something that will leave a legacy and support people on a deep level, I always follow my gut. So we can take Made for More, for example. It's a program that helps people own the fact that they want a life greater than the status quo and giving them the confidence to go after it and truly own their more. And this came from a place of knowing people need to feel okay with wanting more in the first place. Because I know what it's like to feel guilty for wanting more, for wanting a life that doesn't seem possible. I know what it's like to feel like you have to apologize for your ambition. So I created Made for More. Let's take Believing in Your Brilliance, Stepping into Your Power, a program on pursuing your dreams with greater flow, alignment, and clarity. So the purposeful success you're after not only looks good, but feels good too. And I created this program from my own journey of learning how to trust my inner compass, instead of grinding for surface level results. I know what it's like to go from success that only looks good to success that feels good and looks good. Then there's Anchored, a program designed to help you feel steady and grounded as you step into your next level. No more feeling frustrated and full of doubt, because when you're grounded, the journey becomes so much more enjoyable and possible. There's Be That Girl, Be That Guy, and it's all about supporting you and embodying the success you so badly want. There's no more clinging to external validation or results. You'll be living and breathing your success from the inside out. And Becoming Unstoppable, that one is so close to my heart because of the decades that I dealt with rejection and felt rejected. And so this supports those who feel like they aren't enough, just like I felt like I wasn't enough, helping them break free from the bondage that comes with that belief so they can freely and fully pursue their dreams. And so by me going through this list, I hope you can see that each one of these programs that I've created was born out of instinct, out of alignment, and out of trusting myself. I didn't ask anybody what they thought or check to see if these were trending topics. I followed my gut and believed in the power of these programs from day one. And not only did I trust in the power of creating these programs and the instinct for me to create them, I trusted in my own challenges and in my own experiences. And so the pain that I felt during that season of when I was trying to own my more and the more that I felt called to, I trust that I went through that for a reason, to be a guide and to be a light for others. When it comes to external validation and clinging to the external validation and those external results, I trust that I went through, that I spent years constantly and obsessively checking Instagram on my likes. Have I gone viral yet? Has somebody commented on my post? Do they think it's good? Did I say the right thing? Did this land? I need you to tell me. And so I trust in that experience in that hard season of when I was obsessing over those things so that I could create Be That Girl and Be That Guy from a deep place of understanding, not just from a psychological perspective, but from a deep place of understanding. And that's the level of trust that I want you to have in yourself and your vision. When you create from this place of certainty, you don't need the world's validation. You already know you're onto something powerful. You feel it all throughout the day. And if I didn't trust myself when creating my programs, instead of following my gut for like Made for More or Believing in Your Brilliance, for example, I might have tried to mold them in a way that fit what what I thought others wanted, and losing the essence of what I was truly inspired to share. My unique voice and approach would have been watered down, potentially leading to programs that didn't fully resonate with a deeper transformation that I'm passionate about. If I had waited for feedback or sought approval or doubted whether I was ready to launch these programs, it's likely they would have been delayed or possibly never even launched at all. I would have missed the opportunity to make the impact that these programs are currently having on people's lives. Rather than flowing and creating from a place of ease, I might have felt stuck, frustrated, or overwhelmed. And there were certainly moments when I did, don't get me wrong, by trying to make everything perfect or to match someone else's expectations. But trust reigned by doubting myself and my ability to and create these transformative programs in the first place, even when I haven't seen anything like them. I could have lost confidence in my own brilliance. When we don't trust our inner compass, we can easily fall into the trap of thinking we're not enough or that our ideas aren't good enough, which leads to holding back not only ourselves, but our calling. And so I hope that whatever you're creating comes from a deep place of alignment and that your success is a reflection of that. Because if I had ignored that alignment and tried to follow what others said I should do, then my coaching programs might not have resonated as deeply with the people they're helping today. The lives that have been transformed, the clarity that has been gained, the confidence that has been built, all of that could have been diminished if I had ignored my gut. So by ignoring your gut, what is diminished? So by ignoring your gut, what is diminished? And by leaning into your gut and following your intuition and trusting yourself, what could happen? What could transpire? What could take shape or take form? Ultimately, not trusting myself could have meant creating something less impactful, less authentic, and less fulfilling, not only for me, but for the people I'm here to serve. And the same is true for you. When you don't trust your gut, things are less authentic, they are less fulfilling, and they are less impactful. All right, so now that we've talked about why trust is so important, especially for those going after their dreams, we've talked about what radical and fierce trust looks like. I want to move into talking about one of the biggest blocks that stands in our way and prevents us from trusting ourselves. Not only have I experienced this is probably one of the biggest blocks that constantly comes up for me that I have to constantly go back to. And I have definitely seen it in my clients. And so that biggest block that I want to talk about is the fear of being wrong. Have you ever felt that way? You fear making the wrong decision. You worry that you're going to say the wrong thing, that you're going to do the wrong thing, that you're going to show up at the wrong time, that you're going to post at the wrong time, according to the algorithm, that whatever you're doing, that you're going to wear the wrong thing. Like, just the list goes on, right? And so this fear of being wrong is one of the biggest blocks to trusting your vision. And oh my gosh, this fear can totally wreak havoc and can completely derail our alignment with our true path. And I know that we've all been there, standing at a crossroads, overthinking every decision because we're terrified of making the wrong move. What if I invest time and energy into this project and it flops? What if I pivot in my business and it's the wrong direction? The list goes on. And I know this fear can be so paralyzing, and it often leads us to doing nothing at all, which ironically becomes the biggest misstep we can take, is actually not doing it. Because again, our calling is called through us. So here's the thing. When we're so focused on not making the wrong move, we start doubting every decision. We question ourselves, overanalyze every detail, and second guess our intuition. And this doubt keeps us from aligning with our true path because instead of moving forward with clarity and confidence, we stay stuck, constantly worrying if we're doing it right, if we're saying the right thing. And as a result, we lose sight of our bigger vision, right? It becomes watered down by that fear. And so when fear is driving our decisions, you're not making choices from a place of alignment. You're making choices from a place of avoidance, trying to avoid failure, disappointment, or judgment. But when we live our lives trying to avoid pain, we end up avoiding our true calling. And I know that's not what we want. That's not what we're here for. We unknowingly pursue things that are safe and predictable and approved by others rather than what truly lights us up. And that's where the disconnection from our path can begin. But The real magic happens when we stop trying to control every outcome and instead trust your intuition to lead the way. When you trust that your vision is guiding you, when you trust that you're supported every step of the way, there's no room for fear. You ain't got time for that. Yes, you might take a misstep and things might not turn out like you wanted, but that's part of the process. Each step, even the uncertain ones, help you uncover the next piece of the puzzle. And when you trust your path more and doubt your path less, you naturally align with your greater purpose. Remember, trusting your vision isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about taking the first step with confidence, trusting that the path will unfold as you go. The more you trust yourself, the clearer your path becomes. And that's where the magic of alignment, clarity, and flow truly happens. But doing things like faking it till you make it or relying on our action to build our confidence, that's not trust. That isn't trust. That's relying on our action. That's leaning into our effort. And honestly, that's perpetuating the lack that's within us. Trust comes from inside. It's a deep place of inner knowing. It's being able to tap into that still small voice inside of you. It's being able to know that when you feel inspired, that means to keep going. And honestly, it's not even about reframing mistakes as valuable lessons. It's about truly knowing and understanding that they're part of it, that the contrast is as beautiful as the confident moments, that they both serve you in some way. And so I encourage you to pause before taking action and ask yourself, am I doing this because I trust it'll move me toward my vision? Or am I doing it because I feel like I have to? Or because I'm trying to get it right? Where are you coming from before you take action? Are you coming from a place of being afraid of getting it wrong and trying to fake it till you make it? Or are you coming from a true place of trusting yourself more? And so many people doubt their dreams and their vision, thinking that it's unrealistic or it's too big. But trust comes in, trusting the fact that you have been given the vision. And since you've been given the vision, you also have what it takes to bring it to life. It's trusting that your vision, even when it seems impossible and totally far-fetched and totally ridiculous, is one of the most important yet challenging things a visionary can do. But here's the thing, if that vision has been placed in your heart, it's there for a reason. You're not being given an impossible dream. You're not being given something to build without the tools to build it. You're being called to bring something new and powerful in the world, to build it brick by brick and piece by piece. And so think about it. Your vision, whatever it looks like, is unique to you. And no one else has the exact same calling, the exact same dream, the exact same passion as you do. And that's why it's so important to trust it. If you don't trust your vision, you're essentially doubting the very thing that's meant to guide you to your purpose. Because since you've been given this purpose and since you've received that purpose, you've also been given the tools to bring forth that purpose into fruition. And this isn't a cute Pinterest quote saying that you have everything within you, because I feel like that kind of implies that we have everything within us and we don't need outside help or outside support or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at is just the sheer fact of trusting that you can do it, trusting that you're not crazy, trusting that you are capable, trusting that you are worth it, that this is the way forward. Trusting in those specific things, because when you trust that the tools and the resources and the people and the universe is supporting you in this vision, because it's truly a calling meant to impact the world, when you trust that it's there, just weird synchronicities start happening, weird things, weird opportunities, weird connections, weird ideas just start popping off. But that trust is the foundation. And when you lean into your vision, when you trust that it was given to you for a reason, you're stepping into alignment with your fullest potential, with the fullness of who you are. And that's when things really start to move from my perspective. That's when doors open, ideas flow, and you begin to see how it can all come together. And I personally believe that you have been given a vision, no matter how big or impossible it feels. It's because you are the person who is meant to bring it to life. And the fact that you've even dreamed it means you already have what it takes to make it happen. But it's about allowing yourself to become that person. And now that doesn't mean it'll be easy. It doesn't mean you'll know every step from the beginning, that you'll be able to see the full staircase. But the vision is like a compass. It's pointing you toward your purpose, which is why I say it in every video and every episode. Your job isn't to have all the answers right away. Your job is to trust that as you take each step, the next one will reveal itself, and the next one, and the next one. And I know what it feels like when the vision seems too big to be real. I'm closely holding one of those visions to my heart right now. And it's easy to want to shrink it down, to make it more manageable, or to tell yourself that maybe it's not possible. But I'm here to tell you, don't shrink your vision. Don't shrink your desires. Lean into them, as abstract as they may feel. Trust that if you can see it, you can create it. And the only thing that makes a vision unrealistic is the belief that it's unrealistic. And once you shift that belief, the impossible becomes possible. I was talking earlier about creating made for more, and now believing in your brilliance, stepping into your power. When I was crying during my lunch breaks, or just having this aching desire within me for a life outside of the one I had paved out for myself, I didn't know what it all meant. I honestly thought something was wrong with me. I thought my life was over. I thought that I was this weird person in the world who could think I could actually build something outside of corporate. I thought so many things. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I was experiencing those seasons in order to help people in a way that I so badly wish someone had been there for me. Never did I imagine that. And so when you trust your vision, when you trust your nudges, even when you don't know exactly what the nudges mean, you're not just moving toward your goals. You're not just being rebellious or doing something outside of the box for the sake of doing something outside of the box. You're aligning with who you're truly meant to be. And the more you trust it, the more clarity and flow you're going to experience. And it's in that trust that you'll find the energy, the resources, and the path to bring your dream to life. So if your vision feels impossible right now, that is a good thing. It means you're dreaming big. And that's exactly where you need to be so that you can cultivate that trust to bring forth that dream. So I want to ask you, what's the boldest vision you have for your life, for your business right now? And what would it look like to fully trust that vision? What would it feel like as the journey is unfolding? What would it feel like? And that's so important because of how we started off this very conversation with when we hear that voice inside of us that is questioning, am I doing this right? Am I on the right path? So often those voices are so prominent and dominant within us that it's so easy to listen to them because we've unknowingly trained ourselves to. But when we start tapping into what that bold vision looks like, and not only that, but what does it feel like to trust ourselves? What does it feel like to follow the inspiration? What does it feel like to get a desire for a video and be able to just move and groove, have the outline go from the idea to the title to the thumbnail to the outline to recording it to creating the thumbnail to publishing it. Like from the beginning to the end, you were just completely lit up. Imagine what it would look like and what it would feel like for more of that, or whatever is resonating for you to lean into in this moment. And trust that by doing an exercise like that, by reflecting and taking some time to reflect, whether you're driving or working out, whether you're sitting at the park while the kids are playing, trusting that that is helping you bring your vision to life, and that that is action. I know it's not the type of action that us type A'ers think of action, but it is action, and that's the beauty of alignment. Because oftentimes one moment in alignment is far better than 100 actions outside of alignment. And so, speaking of alignment, I thought it would be really helpful for us to talk about some signs for when we're in alignment and what to do if we're not. Because trust is very much a part of that. Remember that train analogy that I talked about? Trust helps our train move along. All right, so some signs when you're in alignment: clarity comes. There's clarity. You feel clear on the next step. And once again, you're trusting yourself. When you trust yourself and your vision, you naturally fall into alignment and into that clarity with your purpose. And when you're in alignment, that's when clarity flows and everything feels a bit more effortless. But here's the key: alignment isn't a one-time thing. It's something you have to nurture and pay attention to, because you can slip in and out of alignment, and that's okay. It's about recognizing where you are and course correcting when it's needed. And so when you're in alignment, it feels like everything is flowing. Things just feel clear. There's a sense of ease in what you're doing. Even in challenging moments, let's say when you have bad internet connection or it's raining outside, but you don't feel like the things you're doing are draining you. You have the resilience. It's like those challenges that are coming up are just like a car that passes by. They don't have an effect on you. You notice a sense of inspiration that keeps showing up, and it's that inspiration that drives you to new ideas, that turns solutions into problems, or gives you the motivation to keep going. When you're in alignment, you wake up in the morning excited about what's ahead for the day because you're clear on your vision. And you know that every step you take is moving you closer toward that vision somehow, some way. Your decisions feel intentional, and there's no or very little second guessing of whether you're on the right path because you feel it in your gut. There's ease. Things seem to fall into place without as much resistance. You know what steps to take, and you're not overwhelmed by choices. When you're in alignment, you have new ideas and creativity flows easily, and you're excited to take action. You feel energized by your work, even after a long day or after the kids have been arguing all day. You're excited to get started every day, and you're passionate about what you're building. Whether it's bookkeeping or website designing, whatever it is, you're excited about it. You start noticing opportunities, people, and resources are showing up at the right time. You trust your decisions, and there's a deep knowing that you're on the right path. That's what alignment is. That's what it feels like. And on the flip side, when you're out of alignment, everything feels harder, quite frankly. There's resistance. It can feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill, but you're not making any progress. It feels like you're spinning your wheels, doing all the right things, but not getting anywhere. Like you're just trying to get through mud. You may start to feel burned out, like the passion you once had for your work is slipping away. You feel tired. There's a sense of confusion, like you're not sure what the next step should be or whether the actions you're taking are even the right ones. When you're out of alignment, you can feel like you're forcing things and things aren't happening naturally. You feel drained, even from tasks that used to excite you. You're unsure of what to do next, or you feel disconnected from your vision. You're easily frustrated by obstacles or setbacks, and they feel bigger than you are. When you're out of alignment, you can feel like there's too much on your plate and it feels impossible to manage everything. Like you're trying to spin all of these plates and you don't know which ones are falling and which ones you're holding up. You find yourself questioning your decisions or second guessing whether you're on the right path. You're not excited by new ideas or possibilities, and everything just feels like a checklist item, like emptying the dishwasher and going to the grocery store. And I want to emphasize that these things, yes, they can be big moments where you feel like things feel hard, where you feel like you're forcing things. But oftentimes being out of alignment shows up in the smallest of ways for me. It can show up throughout the day if we've just had a crazy day and things are all over the place. I can suddenly feel disconnected from my vision of what am I doing? What am I even working on right now? After 8:30, after the kids go down, I often feel tired. Like I cannot even think another sentence, that I have no idea what tomorrow is even going to look like. And at that point, I know I'm out of alignment. And there's no shaming. There's no beating myself up. There's no thinking, I'm not meant to do this. I'm not worthy. Who am I? I think this is a sign. I used to think that. And so that's why I want to emphasize this, that being in alignment is most powerful when we can be sensitive to the moments that we're in alignment. Even throughout this video, there have been moments where I know I'm in alignment and moments where I know I'm not in alignment. And so it's about being aware of this. And then knowing that alignment is always something you can come back to. You can always get back on track at any given moment. So if you're noticing any of these signs of being out of alignment, whether it's today or next week, I want to give you some tips on how to get back on track. It's just a momentary, you're in or you're out. Just a momentary, I'm in alignment, I'm out of alignment, I'm in alignment, I'm out of alignment. And then get back on track. Because we want to build our dream and our calling from this place of alignment as much as possible. And are we ever going to be 100% aligned 100% of the time? No, absolutely not. And that's not the goal by any means. The goal is to notice when we're in alignment and when we're not in alignment. Because when we're not in alignment, we're not trusting ourselves. Maybe we're afraid of getting it wrong or saying the wrong thing. Maybe we are letting someone else's voice have more volume within us than our own voice. And so that's the key here, is to just that train, keeping it in this alignment, because that's the natural flow and the natural momentum and the natural rhythm for us building our dreams. If we're building it from a place where it's hard, where it's forced, where it's from obligation, then like I talked about in the beginning, it's going to be less fulfilling, less impactful, and less authentic. And so when you notice that you're out of alignment, take a moment to step back and ask yourself where you're feeling resistance. Are you trying to force something that's not ready? Are you saying yes to things that don't feel right? Use that moment to reconnect with your vision and remind yourself of why you're doing this. What's the bigger picture? How do you want it to feel? How can it be easier? Because sometimes just revisiting our vision and reconnecting with our purpose is enough to reignite that spark. When you're out of alignment, when you're overwhelmed or confused in that moment, it's often a sign that you're trying to do too much at once. So what can you simplify? What can you let go of? What can wait? If you've lost the inspiration for a moment, spend some time doing something that lights you up. Running, taking the dog for a walk. Because inspiration isn't forced, it's found in moments of joy, creativity, and relaxation. If something doesn't feel right, trust that feeling. Misalignment often comes when we ignore our instincts and try to follow someone else's path instead of our own. Sometimes we need to slow down to get back into alignment. If you're burned out, it's a sign that you need rest. It's a divine day off. You need to give yourself permission to take that day off, take that break and recharge. Because here's the thing, when you're in alignment, clarity comes naturally. You don't have to force decisions or second guess yourself because you're tuned into your inner guidance. And that's when flow happens, when things start clicking into place without you having to hustle for it. Alignment brings clarity, clarity brings ease, and ease brings flow. It's a beautiful cycle that keeps us energized, focused, and moving forward in the right direction. So pay attention to those signs. When things feel hard or heavy, it's a sign to check in with yourself and realign. Get your train back on track. Trust that when you're in alignment, things will flow. Things will happen faster, even if you can't see it. And that's where the magic happens. Here's the truth. Trusting yourself and your vision is one of the most powerful things you can do. If there's anything I want you to walk away with, it's that. And trusting ourselves is what allows you to stay aligned even when the path feels unclear or uncertain. When you trust yourself, you move forward with confidence, knowing that every step you're taking you closer to the life that you are meant to live and the legacy you are meant to leave. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's that your vision deserves that trust. And it's been given to you for a reason. And now I know that it can be tempting to look to external strategies to fix things when you're feeling uncertain. But the truth is, those strategies often fall flat if you're not internally. And so, if that resonates with you, that's why I created another episode on why external strategies fail without this one thing. And in it, I go deeper into how alignment with your vision is the foundation for any strategy to truly work. So if you want to take this conversation that we've been having today even further and continue building success from a place of true alignment, be sure to check it out. As always, your vision is your compass. Stay certain, stay aligned, and stay true to yourself. I'll see you in the next episode.